DeepSeek are out with a brand new version of their V3 model, V30324, meaning it got released on the 24th of March or 25th of March, depending where you are in the world. And it's a bit of a big deal because it is vastly better than its previous model, which was already really good. In a lot of cases, it's outperforming coding components from Claude Sonnet 3.7, and in some cases, it's outperforming GPT 4.5, which is incredible, the fact that an open source model keeps on doing this. And this morning alone, thanks to this new tool and its coding capabilities, I was able to create this simple web app that tells me the ranking keywords of a competitor or a URL. For example, I place in the URL, the country, the language, how many keywords I want to see, and it tells me the total amount of keywords it's ranking for, how many of those keywords are in position 1, in position between 2 and 3, and between 3 and 4, and also gives me all these keywords, and I can even download that as a CSV file, this data here. Now, I'm using the API data for SEO, but I didn't write a piece of code. It did it all for me. I'm going to show you how to do that as well. Not only that, but it was able to give me a really in-depth and concise competitor analysis where I provided it competitor data. I'm going to show you how to get that in a second, because whilst DeepSeek, this new version, is really good, it still doesn't have access to SEO data, but I gave it that. And with that, it gave me a really comprehensive strategy, my identified keyword gaps that I could go for, what are my missed opportunities, and some actionable insight, what I should be doing now to try and rank really well. And even some long-term strategies the next 3 months, which makes things a lot easier. SEO can be complex already, makes it a lot easier when a smart model tells you what to do, given that you've provided it the right data set. And of course, the final thing that I did today is get it to write me a really high quality blog post about this new version of DeepSeek and what it is. And to be honest, straight out of the box, the copywriting is pretty good. It doesn't have any of that AI fluff like in the ever-evolving world of, and let's delve into. And I didn't have to prompt it an extreme amount to write like this. It even gave me a few tables. It sourced all the right information where it got it from, because it does have access to the internet. So I'm going to show you how you can do all these things using DeepSeek V3 that was released in the 24th of March this year. For it to write me the application that I showed you before, I need to have a bit of an understanding of what I want and how that's going to work. You always need a bit of a fundamental understanding how this data works. And I knew that I needed some sort of high quality data set for my SEO data, which I got from Data for SEO. They're a really, really good API provider, meaning that they don't have a nice looking front end, but they do have really high quality data for SEO given the name. So all I kind of did was pasted what the call should look like, which call we want to do, and what I wanted as an output. I just said, I'd like to build a simple web app that will call the rank keywords function from Data for SEO. Just build it in HTML because I want to inject it into the website. This is what the function call looks like. And I just directly copied it from the documentation of Data for SEO. And then at the end, I said, and this is what I should get out of this data. I just want the total count of keywords, how many are in position 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 10. You get the idea. And I can even preview it within DeepSeek. So this was the first run, and the first run it got it right, which is bananas, really. So here I'm doing it for Data for SEO, the country, the language. I'm going to analyze the keywords. It's fetching the information from Data for SEO. And it got it right the first go, which was pretty impressive. I've been trying to do this with Claude 3.7, and it took me a lot of goes to get something similar. Now, that might be user error. I'm not prompting it correctly, but the new version of DeepSeek didn't matter that I created so many user errors. It got that right away. And now you can even test this tool. You can go, I'll leave a link below where you can try this free SEO competitor analysis tool and you can test it out. You can even download it as a CSV. So placing this into something like Klein or another coding tool will be amazing because the cost is so little. If you have an idea for a web app, it's a really good way to get a lot of traffic these days for SEO. So that's one. The next use case is, well, how do I get it to create this incredible SEO strategy? And like I mentioned before, you need to give it high quality data, which it doesn't have access to. So using this automation that is straight out of our online community AI ranking teaches you how to leverage AI and automations to do SEO a lot quicker. So using an automation in the automation fundamentals of our community, there is a automation called competitor analysis automation that the output would look like this. This is the automation itself. You can upload it into Make and it's pretty much ready to go. You just have to change a few components, and the output is this Google Sheet with a incredible data set of all the really main data components that you want to create a competitor analysis. And I even have of each website that I compared or that I analyzed, what are their ranking keywords and how much traffic are they probably getting for these keywords as well, including the keyword difficulty for those specific keywords. And it's great getting this data set, but it's difficult to then know what to do with it. How do you action it out? Well, this is where these smart models come into mind. All I did was download this as a CSV file. And again, if you want this, you can get us in our online community. Downloaded it as a XSLX file because that has all of the components in it. I went to DeepSeek, I started a new conversation, and I pasted that file in here. And then I've got another prompt that I've created to help me kind of analyze all this stuff. It's inside our prompts, inside our community. You're going to scroll down and find this one that says DeepSeek SEO competitor analysis. I'm going to copy this entire prompt here. I'm going to go back to DeepSeek and then I'm going to paste it here. There's one thing that I need to change, which is the insert your URL, meaning the URL that we are trying to rank. For this instance, if I go back to the initial data set, I want to rank this URL here. And if you're getting a bit confused, don't worry. We do this in a step-by-step progress inside our community. I'm going to grab that link, go back to DeepSeek, insert the URL there. So it has an understanding of, well, out of all this data, which one's the one that we're doing the work for. So it's got all the data set, it's got the key objectives and everything like that. I'm going to hit enter. Remember, I don't have the R1 selected. I've got the new model, which as to my research and understanding, they've got the new R3 model in DeepSeek. And it's understood the competitors, the overview, the overall metrics, and it's going to go and give me a really high quality SEO strategy that I can start implementing today, which I think is the beauty about these smart models. If you give it the right data, because the fundamentals still apply. Garbage in, garbage out. The quality of the output is directly related to the quality of the input. The better your input by providing a good data, the better your output. And you can see here that it's already understood the strength of the competitors, the weaknesses of us, what we need to do, actionable recommendations, on-page optimization, long-term strategies, published guides like how to authenticate vintage watches. That's actually really good. And a bunch of these things that I can start actioning out today. Really, really smart model and kind of gets fundamentally the understanding of what we're trying to do. And finally, I got it to write a blog post. This blog post was with this one single prompt. I'm going to show you where you can get that, but I asked it to write about the new model V3 0324, released on the 24th of March this year. And I want to read the first sentence so you can decide if you like or not the copywriting. It says, artificial intelligence is evolving at breakneck speed, and one of the latest model making waves is DeepSeek V3 0324. If you haven't heard the buzz, but aren't quite sure what sets it apart, you're in the right place. I actually don't mind that. And I can prompt it better with adding a negative keyword list, meaning, hey, here's a bunch of keywords that I don't want you to use, but straight out of the box, it actually writes pretty well. At least I think so. So again, how did I do this? Well, I have another prompt that I have ready in our community. And the same prompt place, I've got the DeepSeek R1 copywriting prompt, but I can use it for this new version of V3. I'm going to go to, you can see I'm in Open Router, but I've got that model selected. I'm going to paste my prompt here. And here you need to insert the topic that you'd like to focus on. For example, let's do another one, why open source models like V3 are incredible for the AI space. And so I've just said why open source models like the new DeepSeek V3 are incredible for the AI space and for the end user, because eventually they are. They make the competition a lot more fierce, and for the end user, it ends up being a good thing. I'm going to hit enter. I've got the web search capability done because I wanted to do a little bit of research, and it should take a little while and give me some results back. Now, is this blog post ready to be published right away? No, I would suggest you go through it, add a few of your insights if you can. This is what's going to separate this blog post from any other AI generated fluff out there. But the idea is to leverage these models to do the hard yards for you. And after a little while, I can see that it's written my blog post. Now, should you trust this blindly? Absolutely not. You should go through it, make sure that it has actually gone through, done some research. In this instance, because I think a lot of people are using it, the online feature isn't working. So there, you need to make sure that it is actually functioning. You do read it to make sure that the data or the information that it provides is up to date. But still, a pretty incredible model that is open source, meaning that it's good for us. It can be technically free, although you need a pretty incredible hardware to be able to run this locally. Regardless, I think DeepSeek is really good for the end user. Whether or not you agree about providing your information to another Chinese company or not, I don't want to get into that conversation, but it's a model that you should be aware of exists. And again, all the resources will be in the video description below. If you found any value on this video, consider liking this video, maybe subscribing to the channel to keep up to date with more AI tools and how to use them for SEO. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.